Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about hybrid holsters. And we're going to be talking about hybrid holsters as a concept, right? So I'm not specifically doing a review on these two holsters. This one over here I got from Craft Holsters, made by Falco. Really great workmanship on it. It's got some really nice stitching. Really nice holster. This is about I think a $50 holster. This one over here I got off of eBay. This is a $25 holster. The seller was called Infused Kydex USA. So it's a cheaper holster. It doesn't have any fancy stitching on it, but it does have a nice print on it, right? It's got the rattlesnake there with "Don't tread on me." So really nice print there. I kind of like it for that. So like I said, we're going to be talking about the concept of the hybrid holster. Is there a benefit to it? What are the pros, cons? Some things that maybe don't make a difference. And I also have here, for comparison, a fully Kydex holster. Okay, this one is made by Polcraft. Again, this is also I think like a $22 holster that I got on Amazon. Now, when we're talking about holsters, right? The first thing is it's got to hold the gun in place. Okay. So basically we're talking about retention, right? Now with the fully Kydex holsters, what you typically have is, let's put it this way, the retention point is usually around the trigger guard, okay? So this holster matches up to this M&P Shield 9, all right? And the retention point is right around the trigger guard over here. When it goes in, it clicks into place, and basically the holster, it kind of comes in, and it pinches the trigger guard on both sides, okay? And then there's a tension adjustment over here that you can tighten up if you want to make it a little bit tighter or a little bit looser, okay? And I was carrying this Shield 9 in this Polcraft holster for, I think, 8 months to a year. It worked out pretty good for me. My only complaint about this one is that I wish that the plastic over here covered the rear sights, because sometimes the corner of that rear sight would pinch into me. Now this was an inside the waistband holster, okay? So basically, now here's the thing with the inside the waistband holster, because it's inside of your belt and the belt is running through this clip and it's pressing it up against your body, you get a little added retention. So an inside the waistband holster can afford to be a little bit looser, all right? Because you also have the pressure of your belt up against it, pressing it up against your body. But this has pretty good retention and still easy enough to get in and out. Okay? So when we're looking at the hybrid holsters, right? So with the hybrid holsters, because there's leather on one side that's typically flat, okay, the retention, it has the same retention system, but it's usually just on one side. Okay, so right there, there's sort of a disadvantage in the sense that it's being retained from only one side as opposed to both sides of a fully Kydex holster. And same thing with this Falco holster here. It's got the retention on just one side. Now, this is an outside the waistband holster. Okay, so this rides on the outside. And again, this is also for my Shield 9. Okay, and I mean, this had decent retention, so if I bounced it, it wouldn't come out. However, one of the things I noticed that if I pushed on this, you could see how it kind of slides up a little bit, okay? So this kind of slides up a little bit in the way that it won't do with a fully Kydex holster, right? The same amount of pressure, it doesn't slide up because it has double the retention there, okay? The other thing is, this holster here has the tension screw, so I could make it tighter if I needed it tighter. With neither of these hybrid holsters, neither one of them has that tension screw. And I don't think it's a common thing. I think it would be a good idea if at some point they could kind of work it in, maybe to pull the leather maybe a little bit closer to the Kydex. I mean, I can, with a washer on the back, I can kind of see that working. But that's one of the things you're gonna have to look at if you're looking at these hybrid holsters. You're gonna have to look at retention. Now, with this one over here, this is the one from eBay, and this matches up to my Polymer 80 G26 that I built. Okay, This one actually has even less retention. I can push this out a little bit easier. But here's the thing: this is inside the waistband, so I've got my belt riding through this thing, pressing this up against my body, and with my belt pressing up against this, I find that the retention is very good. It's adequate. Okay, so even though when you're holding this and you're pushing up like this, it's like, okay, this doesn't have enough retention. When you're wearing it, that's not an issue. So that's one of the things to be aware with the hybrid holster. The retention is going to be different if it's outside of your waistband versus if it's inside of your waistband. Okay. Now, next thing I wanted to bring out, and this is really the only place where I saw a difference, because actually there's two places where I saw a difference. Because I was carrying this holster for about a week, and when I was inside the waistband, not a problem. The gun is small enough that I can comfortably sit in the car. I found obviously a small gun would be a little bit more comfortable. The issue was, right, when you have to go use the restroom, right, when you gotta use the toilet. And typically what I do is, because I don't want to just drop my pants and have the gun basically hit the ground, what I will typically do is I will take off my belt. I'll pull back my belt so I can remove the holster from my belt. And then what I will typically do is, with the gun inside the holster, you never remove the gun from the holster when you're in the bathroom, or other than if you're gonna shoot the gun, because the holster is the safety mechanism for these striker-fired guns. Okay, so this is a G26, no safety on the gun, so the holster is the safety mechanism. So here's the thing: like I said earlier, even though when this is inside the waistband, I felt that this had good retention, right? When I remove it off of my belt, or basically undo my belt for that matter, right? So even if you don't remove it off your belt, let's say you just drop your pants, well, now once you unbuckle your belt, you don't have that pressure up against the gun. All of a sudden, you have a gun that is gonna want to fall out really easy. Okay, so that's an important consideration with these hybrid holsters. Even though the gun may have good retention when it's in your waistband, when you remove it, because what I will typically do is when I go to use the toilet, I will remove it from my waistband and I will stick it in my pocket like this. Okay, this way I can drop my pants and the gun doesn't fall on the ground. Well, here's the next thing that I found. Okay, when I'm done using the bathroom, now I want to get the gun with the holster out of my pocket, put it back on my belt, and like the very first time that I went to pull this out, what happened was the holster snagged, and all of a sudden I pulled the gun out of the holster. So now I've defeated the safety mechanism unintentionally. So that's another important consideration to have with these hybrid holsters, because you got to have a bathroom plan. Throughout the course of the day, you're probably going to need to use the bathroom. You got to have a way to use the bathroom if where you can drop your pants and there's no risk that the gun's going to come out of the holster. So that's the next issue that I had. And with this holster here, with the Falco holster, when I tested this one out, I did have a similar issue. The issue was that even though when I was testing this out, this is a little bit tighter. I told you guys that I was not 100% comfortable with the retention for outside the waistband, but it got a lot worse when I tried to put this in my pocket. First of all, this is too big to put in my pocket. So immediately with this, I've got a bathroom problem. Okay, I gotta find some other way now. How am I gonna, I gotta pretty much put this between my, in my pants, between my legs, and now I got a gun, in the holster where it doesn't have the best retention, sitting between my legs. So that, again, that didn't make me feel really comfortable. So again, that's another consideration: the size of the holster. All right, if it's got things that stick out like this, if you need to use the toilet, where are you going to put this thing? Okay, with this pull crap holster, right? Now this is designed in such a way that basically it rolls around. Okay, it basically pinches over here. Nice thing about this design is that the tension point is immediately underneath it. It's not It's not off to the side over here, like for example, with this one over here, right? These two halves attach over here, so this makes the holster itself wider, right? So you can see how when you've got the rivets on the sides over here, the holster becomes wider. With this holster here, I can easily stick this in my pocket, do my business. When I'm done, this will easily go in and out of my pocket. So something important to consider. You need a holster, in my opinion, for the way that, for my bathroom plan, right? I need a holster that is small enough that I can easily put in and out of my pocket without it snagging and hitting things. And that is impossible to do with a holster this size, right? That's just no way that's going to fit in my pocket. And same deal with a holster with this. With this one over here, it's a little bit smaller, right? It doesn't have these big flaps that stick out to the side, so it is a little bit smaller. I can just get this in there. I can make it fit, but a couple of times as I was testing this out, oh, look, gun came out of the holster, right? So that's a problem. Okay, so for my bathroom plan, this is not gonna work. So that's an important consideration for you guys to have. Now, next thing, okay, with the hybrid holsters. Let me put this on for a second. Now, by the way, it's not. I really don't need a sweater on today, but I'm wearing the sweater on purpose for the purpose of this demonstration, for what you guys are gonna see here. So here's the thing. I've got. Actually, let me put. I'm going to take this Kydex holster, the fully Kydex one. I'm going to stick this one back here just for the purpose of this demonstration. I normally don't carry a gun back there. Okay, so here's the thing. All right, with the Kydex one, the one that's fully Kydex, gun comes out, it smoothly goes in. It clicks, comes out, smoothly goes in. Right, in, out, nice and smooth. With the hybrid ones, gun comes out, as it goes in, there's a little bit more resistance. The reason why there's a little bit more resistance is because obviously the plastic, right, is smoother than the leather. So as the gun's going in, yeah, on one side it's smooth plastic, but on the other side, the leather is a little bit more coarse. So the first, when I first started using this hybrid holster here, and I was, obviously first I practiced with the gun unloaded, right? And then at some point when I felt comfortable enough, I lowered the gun. I said, okay, now we got to do some holster drills. So as I'm going back into the holster, I'm feeling a little bit more resistance, and I'm afraid I'm going to blow my ass off because here's the thing, all right? With the Kydex holster, I know that it's going to go in smooth. I expect it to go in smooth. If I feel any resistance on the way in, okay, I'm thinking that maybe my jacket or my sweater snagged, all right? And I'm like, okay, slow down. Make sure that there's nothing in the way that's going to catch this trigger and accidentally fire this gun, into my rear end or into my legs. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of the fully Kydex holster. It goes in smooth. You expect it to go in smooth. So if you're feeling any resistance, you're like, whoa, hold on, let's figure out what's going on here. Whereas with the Kydex one, with the hybrid one, right, which is the one I got over here, because there's that extra resistance that you gotta shove it in there a little bit more. It's a little harder for me to tell the difference between, okay, am I just getting the normal resistance of the leather as I'm putting it in, or did my sweater, like right now my sweater is kind of caught in there. So am I getting extra resistance from my sweater or my clothes or something that's kind of caught up in there? Okay, so another benefit of going fully Kydex in the sense that when you reholster, it's really smooth, so you know right away if something's wrong, if something's caught in there. So that's one of the things that I've studied, right, from I've learned from testing out these holsters, comparing the fully Kydex to the hybrid. So my conclusion is I have not been able to find an advantage, a reason to use a hybrid compared to using one that's fully Kydex. Now, other than style, this is definitely a little bit more stylish. It's got a little bit more fine work over here. The other one, like I said, this one over here from what was it? Infused Kydex USA. That's got a nice print on there. So other than the look of it, I don't see a significant advantage. You know, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, the only thing you might say is that, hey, this is maybe spread out a little bit more, so it kind of maybe spreads out the pressure a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I haven't gotten that impression. Like, I haven't gotten that feeling out of it. It's not, you know, by wearing the hybrid one, it's not like I said, okay, this has, you know, this is a little bit softer, feels a little bit more comfortable to me. I mean, that's just not how I was feeling about it. So, my main issue, the first issue that I ran into was using the bathroom. You know, with the hybrid ones, because they're simply bigger, I did not have a place to put this when I needed to use the toilet. And secondly, the added resistance of when you go to reholster, it's a little harder for me to tell whether it's just you know, resistance from the leather, or if there's like some clothing or something that's actually caught in the holster, and I need to back it out and get the clothing out of the way before I, you know, instead of just keep pushing into it. So those are my thoughts on the hybrids. If you guys have any of your own ideas, any comments, please put them in the comment section. If you guys want me to try out something, test anything for you, please, you know, drop a note in the comment section. If I can do it, I'll do it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.